Hey, I'm Roger, and I just wanted to reach out to you guys that maybe have a lease. I have a commercial space, boutique fitness and yoga people. I know that a lot of you are paying rent, and you may be closing now due to this outbreak of the coronavirus. It's a global pandemic. It's been declared that by the WHO, by the CDC. There's a national emergency. There's probably a state emergency in your state potentially declared. Also in your town may also have a state of emergency. Some places may be closing down, and that might be the best thing for everybody to do, and going online. However, going online doesn't stop your rent check from being due. So I'm a contracts lawyer, and I have been for 20 something years. And just know that there are maybe some clauses in your contract that give you some protection that might allow for you to have rent abatement. It's called force majeure clause. So each contract may address that differently, or it may not address it at all. And generally, the obligation to make a payment is not stopped by the fact of force majeure, meaning an act of God. Certainly this seems like this pandemic would qualify. I don't know if it's actually an act of God per se, but it's certainly highly unusual, extreme, extraordinary circumstances that are causing your studio to have to shut down potentially. And that's not an easy choice, and made more painful by the fact that you still have bills to pay. So it'd be a great time now, when things are slowing down a little bit, to look at your contract, or to have a friend or a lawyer look at your contract to see what it says about force majeure, if it says nothing at all. Also, in those cases where it doesn't say anything at all, there's still common law in a lot of states that would say that called impracticability or impossibility to perform. Again, usually just making a payment isn't excused, but the fact that you cannot be open might change the game, and it might even be that the landlord that you literally can't be open because the government, depending on where you are, might say, hey, you have to close. In that case, it's impossible for you to earn an income, in many cases, or very impractical. And common law might give you some protection as well. So you definitely want to look into that. I'm happy to help if you don't know of anybody, but if you do have a trusted attorney who does contracts, they could look at it. They could tell you what the state law, you can Google that, impossibility of performance and force majeure of your contract. And you may have a landlord who's compassionate, and we're all in this together. So really it's in their best interest to keep their tenants. And if suddenly you have to close down for a month or more, and you are having to pay rent, but you are getting no income, that doesn't benefit anybody for you to have to shut down. So if we all look at the long term, it might be in your landlord's best interest if you have a friendly landlord, and most of our landlords that we had were friendly and could look at the big picture and say, yeah, I'll cut your rent, or maybe even you can not pay rent for a month. So even if your contract doesn't say that that's the thing, if you have a good relationship with your landlord, or have been paying your bills for a long period of time, you can say, look, I always pay my bills on time, and this is a really challenging moment for me where I may not have income coming in. Could you help me out so that we can survive this together? That's not a contractual or a legal thing. That's a human and compassionate thing. And certainly if I were the landlord, I would like to think that I would be thinking along those lines as well. So force majeure, impossibility, you want to be mindful of how you present that, but sometimes if you are claiming that, you have to very formally notify your landlord under those clauses in the contract and the notice provisions. If you need any help, I'm rogerrippy@gmail.com. You can email me, you can send your contract, but you may have somebody that that can take a look yourself, Google it. We're here to help. Thank you.